always say, if Biggie hadn't passed, Hov wouldn't be here.
That's ridiculous, right? That's. I mean, I was here while Biggie was here. You know, the way we were working and the album that we were going to create together, and it's just like you know, that's God's plan. It's just like saying Biggie wouldn't be here if, you know, Rakim had been on the Faith remix, or like. But I personally don't believe anybody could stop me. I was destined to be here. And
one thing, like, that wasn't a process. I think it was like more like a little, for lack of better terms, a little ritual. I know he always, when he was working on his albums, he would wear Biggie chain, his Cuban with the Jesus piece. Jay rocked that. He wasn't getting no cut neither until he finished the album.
So there's this footage making its rounds, and it's got people side-eyeing Jay-Z like never before. Word on the internet is that Hov might have been using Biggie for some dark rituals. And if that's not enough to make your jaw drop, folks are now questioning if Jay-Z was behind way more than he's ever let on. Is this just another conspiracy theory? Or is there something deeper to all of this?
Tell me about Summer Jam 2001.
Crazy. It's live. We the champions. You heard
Michael
it.
Jackson.
We live.
King of rap, the king of pop. Holla.
Turned out crazy. Big event, 20,000.
It's the rap.
Things are getting wild because Beanie Sigel is calling out Jay-Z for ditching him when he needed him most. And honestly, this is just adding fuel to a much bigger fire. Lately, Jay's loyalty, or lack of it, has been under the microscope. And now with this leaked footage claiming Jay used Biggie in some dark rituals, Jay always did paint Rockefeller as this tight-knit family. But if you ask Beanie, it was all smoke and mirrors. Back in the early 2000s, Beanie was one of the label's hottest stars, holding it down even when things got messy. But when legal trouble hit, Jay was MIA. And that's why we now have Beanie saying he felt used and tossed aside. Fans are connecting the dots, wondering if this is just part of a bigger pattern with Jay, using people for his own gain and then leaving them in the dust. And let's not forget how Jay recently distanced himself from Diddy when that Jane Doe lawsuit popped off. Now throw in these wild claims about Biggie and those supposed rituals, and it's starting to look like a pattern. Fans are side-eyeing hard, connecting Beanie's fallout to a bigger narrative about Jay using people for his come-up and then cutting ties when it's convenient. Is it all just a coincidence, or is there more to this story than meets the eye? But to really understand Beanie Sigel's frustration, we gotta rewind to the late 90s and early 2000s, back when Rockefeller Records was at the top of its game. This was Jay-Z, Dame Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burke running the streets with a whole dynasty vibe. Then comes Beanie Sigel, a hungry rapper from Philly bringing that raw, unfiltered street energy that Rockefeller needed.
We a family. All you had to do, you got me. So at that time, when, you know, I'm going to court, and we about to be on tour. We on tour. So
Whole nother tour.
yeah, we on a whole nother tour. So, you know, I'm going for my bail hearing in the feds. And the judge asked Jay, you know, everybody's saying all these good things and all that.
Jay saw the vision and signed him in '99, putting Beanie on the map almost instantly. By 2000, Beanie dropped his debut album, The Truth. And let's just say the critics ate it up. He wasn't just some artist on the roster. He was supposed to be family. At least, that's what Jay made it sound like. Fast forward a bit, Beanie's reflecting on those early days, and he really thought Jay was that guy. Loyal, down for the crew, someone who'd always hold it down. But hindsight's 20/20ths, right? In the early 2000s, Beanie wasn't just a name on the Rockefeller roster. He was a major player in their lineup. Think Kanye West, Memphis Bleak, Cameron. And then there's Beanie, not just dropping fire tracks, but also playing Jay's muscle out in the streets. He was all about holding it down for Rockefeller. Oh, and let's talk about the State Property clothing line, Beanie's brainchild. The State Property movie? That was him too. Dude wasn't just rapping, he was helping build the Rockefeller empire from every angle. But then, things started getting shaky. By 2004, cracks were forming in the Rockefeller family.
He also said, with his mama and the sticks, and selling
that was
800,000.
disrespectful.
That was disrespectful. When I read that, I kind of cringed a little bit.
Yeah, like his mama.
Yeah. Beanie Sigel had a record deal, a record label, and a clothing line. It never went platinum, ever. I don't know the history of rap. Has anyone done so much with so little? I don't even know what more you could do for a person at that point. A record deal, that's normal. A record label and a clothing line, that's not pushing a person. Shit.
Never had a record label.
You never had a label. So state property was not your thing.
Never was on. Pull up one thing where state property ever was signed under me. That's a lie.
Jay and Dame were butting heads about the label's future, and Beanie was stuck in the middle, trying to stay loyal to both. When Jay made his move to take over Rockefeller under Def Jam, it became clear Beanie wasn't part of the plan anymore. And that's where the betrayal really starts to sting. In 2004, Beanie caught a federal case, serious charges that could have put him away for a long time. Now let's not fool around. Beanie was deep in the streets, and this wasn't his first run-in with the law. But instead of standing by him, Jay was nowhere to be found. For someone who had been told this was all about loyalty and family, it was a hard pill to swallow.
Jay know that I was in the building. How is it that Jay I was coming out with Jadakiss. He wanted me to come out with him. How is it that Jadakiss come on, and then after Jadakiss, Carrie Hilson? Jadakiss was supposed to close the joint out right before Jay-Z. So put Jadakiss right there and switch them. Let Carrie go on. This way, it'll give us enough time to make our sweeps. But after I got off the stage with Jadakiss, I went up in the stands in the crowd.
When Beanie got locked up, he thought his Rockefeller family, especially Jay-Z, was gonna hold him down. Like, this was supposed to be the ride or die moment, right? But nope. Instead, Jay hit him with silence. No court appearances, no visits, not even a phone call. Beanie later opened up in interviews, saying he felt completely abandoned during one of the darkest moments of his life. And then there's the court moment that really broke Beanie. He explains that while he was on tour with Rockefeller, he had to step away to deal with his bail hearing. The judge was actually ready to cut him some slack because of all the character witnesses saying great things about him, Jay included. But here's where it gets wild. The judge straight up asked Jay if he'd be willing to take responsibility for Beanie's whereabouts, not his actions, just keeping tabs on him. And what did Jay do? He said no. But it wasn't just that Jay said no, it was how he said it. According to Beanie, Jay put his head down and just mumbled, "No." That moment, it crushed Beanie. He was shackled, looking at Jay like, "You're supposed to be my guy." And all he could think was, what if I really needed to get out? What if my life depended on this? Beanie compared it to what he would have done in the same situation, saying if it were him, he wouldn't have cared what it took. He'd have done whatever was necessary to get Jay out. That no from Jay-Z changed everything for Beanie. He said it shattered the bond they had. And you know what's wild? It wasn't Jay who showed up for Beanie during his trial. It was Dame Dash. Dame stood by his side, publicly showing support and loyalty when Beanie needed it most. That kind of solid backing is what Beanie expected from Jay, but it was Dame who proved he was really about that family over everything in life. While Jay was off playing it safe, Dame was right there, making it clear that Beanie wasn't fighting this battle alone. And that moment, it drew a hard line for Beanie. It wasn't just about the legal stuff, it was personal. That experience left Beanie questioning everything about his relationship with Jay, and honestly, it's a wound that seems like it never fully healed. While Beanie was out here fighting legal battles and feeling abandoned, Jay-Z had his eyes on his own empire. He was dropping the Black Album and hyping up his so-called retirement. To Beanie, this felt like a major slap in the face. He had been out here going to war for Rockefeller, and when the tables turned, Jay was nowhere to be found. By 2005, Rockefeller Records was just a shadow of what it used to be. Jay had taken over as president of Def Jam, while Dame Dash and Biggs went off to do their own thing. And Beanie? He was stuck in limbo. That year, he dropped his third album, The Becoming, which was straight fire. Most of it was recorded while he was dealing with his legal issues. But here's the problem. The album didn't get the push it deserved. Jay, who was now running Rockefeller, wasn't giving Beanie the same energy he used to.
He said with his mama and the sticks and selling
That was
800,000.
disrespectful.
That was disrespectful. When I read that, I kind of cringed a little bit.
Yeah, like his mama.
Yeah.
In interviews, Beanie started opening up about how he was being iced out. He wasn't getting the resources or support that Jay had promised him back in the day. For someone who had been so loyal, this felt like the ultimate betrayal. To make it worse, Beanie later revealed that Jay wasn't just neglecting him, he was straight up blocking him from taking other opportunities. Jay kept him tied to Rockefeller, but refused to invest in his career, leaving him stuck with nowhere to go. By 2009, Beanie had reached his breaking point. That's when he dropped the diss track, What You Talking About? And let me tell you, he did not hold back. Beanie called out Jay for being disloyal and selfish, rapping about how Jay used him for street cred and then tossed him aside when he didn't need him anymore. It was raw, emotional, and a major turning point in their fallout. But Beanie's story isn't exactly one of a kind when you think about Jay-Z and his history of relationships. Over the years, we've seen similar fallouts with other Rockefeller heavyweights like Dame Dash, Kanye West, and even Memphis Bleek to some extent. And most recently, Jay straight up denied being friends with Diddy after getting dragged into a lawsuit involving one of Diddy's accusers. But here's the thing, there's tons of footage out there showing Jay and Diddy being all buddy-buddy. In one clip, Diddy even calls Jay extended family. And there's more. There's another viral moment where Diddy admits that Jay actually skipped Blue Ivy's recital to perform at the Bad Boy 20th anniversary celebration. Diddy was all, man's doing big things, but he flew in just for this celebration because this is extended family. Fast forward to now, and Jay is out here acting like they were never close.
There's only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean, that's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah, nobody else could call me Sean.
He's the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
outside
should be,
of family?
That should be, no, outside of my mother.
Okay, just
That should be calling me, they should be calling me Sean.
Oh, and don't forget, during Diddy's 2023 carpool karaoke with James Corden, he mentioned that Jay-Z is one of the only people allowed to call him by his real name, Sean. He even said, nobody but my mom and Jay can call me Sean. Like, how do you go from that to, we were never friends? Plus, just before Cassie's lawsuit dropped in late 2023, Diddy got honored with a BET Lifetime Achievement Award, and Jay recorded this heartfelt tribute for him. It's like Diddy was making sure everyone saw how tight they were before the drama hit. And honestly, it's wild that Jay even agreed to do that video. With all the connections Jay has, it's hard to believe he didn't have a clue about Cassie's lawsuit brewing. So now that he's acting like he and Diddy weren't close, yeah, people are side-eyeing hard. Even Tony Yayo jumped in during a Vlad TV interview, saying it's crazy how fast Jay distanced himself. He was like, you've seen them together at all these parties, but now Jay's saying, that's not my man? That's kind of weird, right? And he's got a point. Jay and Diddy were always at each other's events, from Rock Nation brunches to Diddy's all-white parties. Now when it comes to Beanie, Jay's fans argue that he had to do what he had to do. They're saying it's not Jay's job to save another grown man or keep him out of trouble. But a lot of folks see it differently. They think this isn't just about Beanie, it's about a pattern. Almost everyone who helped Jay get to the top has a story about feeling betrayed. Even Kanye once claimed that Jay was cold toward him.
You gotta remember, he didn't want 50 at the Super Bowl. That was crazy. I'm like,
Wait, Jay didn't want 50 at the Super
you didn't
Bowl?
know that? Yeah, he didn't
Well,
want.
I remember Eminem pushed for it.
That was some hater shit. Yeah,
I remember
pushed for it.
Eminem
Yeah.
was like, I'm not going to do it unless 50 does it. I heard that.
Yeah, and
But I didn't
don't
know that
think-
Jay was trying to stop it.
I don't think Jay. I don't know. 50 never told me that, but I don't think Jay wanted them there. I don't know.
Because of what, some of the
I mean,
back
you
and
know,
forth back in the
it's
day?
competition. You got to think, 50 always been competition for Jay. Remember, I'm about $1. What the fuck is 50 cent?
And honestly, it all checks out. Let's be real. Nobody becomes a billionaire by being all sunshine and rainbows. Jay's cutthroat ways turned him into a snake. No wonder why Jay-Z's name got tied to so many mysteries in the game, and one of them is the death of Biggie Smalls. The tragic death of Biggie Smalls remains one of hip-hop's biggest mysteries. But recently, some jaw-dropping allegations have surfaced, connecting Jay-Z to Biggie's murder, and the claims are chilling. While it's all speculation, these theories suggest Biggie's untimely demise may have paved the way for Jay-Z's meteoric rise. Biggie's dominance in the rap game was undeniable in the mid-90s. He was the king of New York, the face of Bad Boy Records, and a lyrical genius. But here's the thing. Biggie's shadow loomed large, and some say it blocked Jay-Z's path to the throne. Speculation claims Jay-Z had a motive to take out Biggie, clearing the way for his own reign as the top artist in New York. And get this, Jay-Z's career exploded shortly after Biggie's death. In fact, Reasonable Doubt, Jay's debut album, gained legendary status in part because Biggie wasn't around to dominate the charts. Was Jay's success just perfect timing, or was it orchestrated? Jay-Z wasn't alone in this theory. Allegations have linked both Jay and Diddy to Biggie's murder, painting them as collaborators in a sinister plot. A former bodyguard for Diddy, Uncle Ron, claimed Jay-Z and Diddy played key roles in planning Biggie's death. And here's where it gets wild. Uncle Ron reportedly died under mysterious circumstances just 24 hours after making these claims. Coincidence? Or is there a deeper conspiracy at play? Adding fuel to the fire, new rumors suggest the FBI has unearthed evidence tying Jay-Z and Diddy to Biggie's murder. While the details are murky, fans have pointed out that Jay and Diddy's careers both skyrocketed in the years following Biggie's death. Some say their rise came at the expense of a rap legend. Here's where things get even more eerie. Jay-Z has publicly stated that he spoke to Biggie just hours before his death. He's described the conversation as bittersweet, expressing sadness over losing his friend. But skeptics question the timing. Was Jay really reaching out as a friend, or was this call part of something darker? The whispers of Jay-Z's involvement in dark rituals add a creepy layer to this theory. Conspiracy theorists argue that Biggie's death wasn't just a power move, but part of a larger pattern of sacrifices in the music industry. The fact that Jay-Z's career took off so dramatically after Biggie's murder only strengthens these suspicions. Let's not forget how Jay has been accused of flashing occult symbols in his videos and live performances. The rock diamond hand sign, his use of esoteric imagery, and his connection to rumored secret societies have been dissected for years. Could Biggie have been an unwilling pawn in a much bigger game? Whether you believe these allegations or not, one thing is undeniable. Jay-Z's rise to power coincided with a series of dramatic shifts in the industry. Biggie's death, the Rockefeller breakup, and Beanie Siegel's fall from grace are just a few of the moments that cleared the path for Jay to become hip-hop's ultimate mogul. Jay-Z's history of business-first decisions and strained relationships with former Rockefeller associates like Beanie Sigel has fueled years of speculation that there's more to the story than meets the eye. Some fans believe Jay-Z's meteoric rise wasn't just about savvy business moves, but may have involved darker practices, including sacrificing artists along the way. We all know Beanie's story now. It's widely alleged that Jay-Z refused to vouch for Beanie in court, despite their close relationship and shared history. Beanie himself said he felt used by Jay, stating, "I never asked for anything, but when I needed him, he wasn't there." Was this just a case of business over friendship, or something deeper? The music industry has long been rife with whispers about artists being sacrificed for the success of their labels or executives. And let's not forget Jay's undeniable success after Rockefeller's downfall, while Beanie's career plummeted. Coincidence? Some say no. Critics argue that Jay's pattern of cutting ties with collaborators once they've served their purpose hints at a ruthless strategy. But what if this isn't just about business savvy? People keep pointing to a ritualistic element in how Jay rises while others fall. The idea of sacrificing connections to gain power has been a recurring theme in conversations about the entertainment industry, particularly in hip-hop. Whether it's cutting off Dame Dash or distancing himself from Kanye during his controversial eras, Jay always seems to emerge stronger. And here's where it gets even more eerie. Jay-Z has faced years of rumors about involvement in secret societies and alleged occult practices. Those infamous images of him flashing symbols like the rock diamond, or wearing clothing with esoteric messages. They've been dissected by conspiracy theorists who believe Jay is part of a larger system that demands sacrifices, whether literal or symbolic. One chilling aspect of this narrative ties directly to Beanie Sigel. Some say Beanie's career downfall was Jay's offering to secure his own rise. Whether you believe it's true or not, fans have noted that Beanie's legal troubles, career decline, and ultimate sidelining happened right as Jay reached unprecedented heights in both music and business. From Beanie Sigel and Dame Dash to Kanye West and even Memphis Bleek, almost everyone who played a role in Jay-Z's rise has been left behind in one way or another. While some argue it's just the cost of doing business in an industry as cutthroat as music, others aren't convinced. The recurring pattern of fallout, paired with Jay's immense power and influence, makes it hard to ignore the rumors of sacrifices and dark rituals. What's your take on the whole Beanie and Jay situation? Do you think Beanie's justified in feeling betrayed? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to check out the next video.